Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be hacking a PlayStation Vita model 2000. The instructions you'll see here work for all models of the Vita and are easy enough that even David Vink would be able to do this. And no shade at David, I just know he can take the joke. Now that said, there are a few things to note up front. As with any hacks or modification to a system, there is a risk. You might just break your entire system, but I will say, you would have to be extremely unlucky for that to happen. It is exceedingly rare. So on that note, I'd urge you to back up anything you have on your Vita that you might not want to lose. That means the camera roll stuff especially, if you're one of the people who have ever used it. I haven't really. And maybe anything you have in the videos app. You know, all that stuff that you might have downloaded during COVID lockdown that you don't want people to know about. But what do you mean lockdown was over by 2022? I don't know what this video, I didn't put this video on here. This PlayStation installed it. Now with that stuff out of the way, let's get this started. First off, well, this is a quick procedure. You'll want to be fully charged and plugged in, just on the off chance anything does happen. Having a safety net certainly doesn't hurt. Next up, you will also need an active internet connection. This hack does involve using the console's built-in web browser, so you won't be able to do it if you don't have the internet, or at least it'll be a little more complicated. I'll also add that if this is a used Vita, it's new to you, or maybe you tried putting some custom firmware on there in the past and you don't really know what you're dealing with, it might be worth considering formatting the system first, which you can do by going to Settings, Format, and then Restore this system. It'll prompt you a few times, just go through the prompts like you normally would, and follow it through to the end until you got a fresh new PS Vita boot. So the next thing we want to do is still here in Settings. You want to make sure that you're on the most recent version of the firmware, which is 3.74 at the time of recording this. So to do that, just go into System Update, and as you'll see, I am not currently on version 3.4, so I'm going to download that now. This should be a pretty quick download from this point, as it is just security features. Clock wipe transition. Right, so the new firmware is now installed, and now we're going to go launch the web browser. PlayStation installed it. Once in the web browser, you want to go to http://jailbreak.psp2.dev, exactly as you see on the screen. A security prompt will pop up. Just hit yes to agree to display the page. Here we're going to hit a new screen, and you just want to hit the Unlock My Vita button. There's another prompt, just hit Unlock again. And we are in it now. Clock wipe transition. Once we get through those first couple prompts, we're brought to a new screen that looks a lot like MS-DOS if you ever experienced something like that. And the first thing we want to click on is Install Henkaku. It's a quick process. Right after that, we hit Install Vita Deploy. That process takes a little bit longer, but once it's done, we simply hit Exit. Now we enter Settings once again, and you'll see a new option here, Henkaku Settings. Open that up. And you want to enable unsafe homebrew, and for now, we're just going to close the settings menu. So you remember we installed Vita Deploy, we're going to open that up now. Next, we're going to go to install a different OS, and we're going to use the Quick Install 3.65. This essentially downgrades our firmware. This process does take a minute, so it's important not to let it go into sleep mode while it does this. Just tap a D-pad button every now and then, just for good measure. Clock wipe transition. And the next screen is just asking us if we're sure we want to downgrade from 3.74 to 3.65. Short answer is yes, we are, so press X to confirm. There's another notice here, just press X to accept the terms and start the installation. I'll add now, because the instructions on the Vita hacking website made a note of it. If the system did go to sleep anytime during this process and you have a black screen, it's recommended to just hold the power button until the system completely reboots and start that step all over. After that's done installing, if you have multiple cards in your Vita, it will ask you if you want to transfer data from one card to the other. It's important you do not hit yes here, otherwise it will overwrite your Vita Deploy and erase it. And unfortunately, getting Vita Deploy back through the browser jailbreak website is not that easy once you've gone through these steps, and you may need to reboot your entire system to factory settings. Otherwise, after this final update's done, the Vita's going to reboot in a custom firmware mode, which it will do every time you turn it on from here on out. Next, we're going to open the Vita deploy application again, and from here we're going to go to app downloader. Essentially, we're going to want to download everything that's in here. We'll go over what some of these do later. This is a relatively lengthy install process, but once it's done, you can simply close Vita deploy and then go back into settings, open Hankaku settings, and go to spoofed version. Here we want to manually input 3.74 as the version of firmware we're spoofing. It's important to note anytime the Vita gets an update, you will need to update the spoofed version, thus ensuring your future with online play. And before we go any further, head back to the root settings menu, system, and auto start settings. Then disable download update file for system software. This will ensure that no updates get installed automatically and destroy everything that you just tried to build here.
Clock-like transition.
At this point, we basically have a fully homebrewed, cracked open, jailbroken PS Vita, and you're free to do whatever you want with it. I'd recommend opening up some of those apps that you downloaded earlier, like Vita DB, and allowing that to handle its own install process. Also, maybe check out the custom themes app while you're at it, and personalize your Vita a bit. And if you intend on doing quite a lot with this hacked Vita, I recommend opening up Vita Shell and poking around in there a bit to try to understand how the Vita's file directory system really works. Vita Shell is essentially a look at the Vita's file directories. If you're looking to just add a bunch of homebrew software and games to your Vita, I recommend looking through VitaDB and PKGJ. Both are apps that give you direct access to libraries that allow you to directly download games and software to your PlayStation Vita. I'd also recommend opening up Adrenaline and exploring that if you intend on playing PSP games on your Vita, as Adrenaline basically just changes your entire Vita into a PSP so long as it's open. And lastly, I would recommend getting an SD2Vita adapter, which essentially allows you to transform any SD card into internal storage for the Vita through the game card slot. Now, fully utilizing this is a tutorial in and of itself, and maybe doesn't apply to everybody who's hacking their Vita for the first time, but I highly recommend it to anybody who wants to get the maximum amount out of their Vita. It has essentially allowed me to load everything I'll ever want onto my Vita at once, and I'll pretty much never have to tinker with this again. I have ROMs for every game on every system I'll ever want to play on here, and through PKGJ, I have pretty much every Vita game I may ever want to play again already installed. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the quick and easy rundown on how to hack your PS Vita, not just in modern day, but likely for the foreseeable future. We do not need to recycle this video every year. I'm only doing this once. It is a super easy experience and super worth it. I hope this video was useful, and as always, folks, thanks for watching.